Proceed at your own risk.
The Haunted Disco, submitted by Priya Singh. Penang in the late 1970s was alive with music, the nightlife bustling, and the discos packed. People came from all over, their bell-bottoms swishing on the dance floors, glitter catching in the spinning lights. That was the time when Studio Paradise was the place to be. But what people didn't know back then was that some dancers at Studio Paradise never left. I wasn't supposed to be at the disco that night, just 18, fresh out of school. My friends had dragged me there, saying I needed to loosen up. The music was loud, the lights dizzying, and everything felt like a blur of motion. But something about the place felt wrong from the start. I couldn't put my finger on it, but it was there, a heaviness in the air. As the night went on, I noticed it first in the mirrors that lined the walls. The mirrors were huge, running along the entire length of the club, reflecting the dance floor and the people. But not quite. Every now and then, I would catch something out of the corner of my eye. A figure in the mirror that didn't match the dance floor. A man in the mirror would be standing still while the real person danced. Or a woman's reflection would turn and walk away when the actual woman was still dancing. I brushed it off at first, thinking it was just the flashing lights playing tricks on my eyes. Then it happened. I was standing near the bar trying to cool off from the heat of the dance floor when I saw her. A girl in a red dress, her reflection clear in the mirror. She was standing perfectly still, staring at me, even though there was no one in front of her. My breath caught in my throat. I looked away for just a second, and when I looked back, she was gone. That's when the cat appeared. A sleek black cat, its green eyes glowing faintly in the dim light, strolled casually through the crowd. No one seemed to notice it, as if it wasn't really there. But I saw it. I watched it as it weaved through the dancers, moving gracefully towards the far end of the disco, where the mirrors curved around the corner. Something about that cat wasn't right. I followed it, my curiosity stronger than my fear. It disappeared around the corner, and when I reached the spot, I found nothing but the long, empty stretch of mirror reflecting the empty side of the room. But in the mirror, the cat was still there, sitting calmly and staring at me. My heart pounded as I turned to look behind me. Nothing, just an empty corner of the disco. When I looked back into the mirror, the cat had moved closer. I could see its reflection clearly. Its eyes gleamed in the dark, almost too bright, too aware. And then it opened its mouth as if to yawn, but instead, I heard a faint whisper, like a voice carried on the wind. Leave. I stumbled back, my heart racing, but no sound came out of my mouth. The cat remained in the mirror, unblinking, watching me with a cold, predatory gaze. Then I noticed something else, a woman standing in the mirror behind me. The same girl in the red dress. Only this time, her face was twisted, her eyes black, and her mouth stretched into a grotesque grin. I turned around, desperate to run, but she wasn't there. The mirror showed something that didn't exist in the real world. My legs felt like jelly as I tried to move away, but my eyes were glued to the reflection. The cat began to move again, walking towards the girl in the red dress, and they both vanished into the dark corners of the mirror. That's when I heard the music stop. The entire club fell into a strange silence, the lights still spinning but the sound gone. I turned, looking for my friends, but they weren't there. The dance floor was empty. Only the mirror showed the dancers still moving, still lost in the beat that no longer played. My own reflection wasn't there at all. Panicking, I ran towards the exit, pushing past invisible bodies. But the door wouldn't open. I pounded on it, screaming, but it was like the entire world had shifted. In the mirrors, I saw the girl in the red dress again, standing right behind me, her reflection grinning as her hand reached out towards my neck. But this time, I saw more figures in the mirrors, dozens of them. Faces I didn't recognize, some twisted in fear, others with cruel, wide smiles. Their reflections were trapped, stuck in an endless loop of dancing, some of them pounding on the mirror like they were trying to escape. I felt like I was suffocating. I grabbed the door handle, yanking at it with all my strength. I could hear the whispers growing louder now. The voice in the mirror was not just the cat. It was all of them, a chorus of soft voices overlapping. Leave. I slammed my fist against the door, feeling the weight of invisible eyes on me. The mirrors were no longer just reflections, they were windows, and the figures behind them were alive, watching, waiting. In one mirror, I saw a hand reaching out toward me, pressing against the glass, smearing it with what looked like blood. My knees buckled, just as I thought I was about to collapse. The door suddenly gave way, and I fell through. I landed hard on the sidewalk outside, gasping for air, the noise of the city filling my ears again. My heart was still racing, my body trembling uncontrollably. I looked around. No one seemed to notice me. No one seemed to care. The next morning, Studio Paradise was closed. They said there were safety issues with the building. I tried to tell my friends what I saw, but I couldn't make sense of it. How could I explain what I saw in those mirrors? How could I tell them about the cat, the whispers, the girl in the red dress? They thought I was just shaken up from the music, from the heat. But I know what I saw, and now every time I pass by a mirror, I catch a glimpse of her. The girl in the red dress watching from the other side, waiting. Sometimes when I look long enough, I see the cat too. I tried to move on, tried to forget about it, but things have changed. My reflection, it feels wrong now. I see it blink when I don't. I catch glimpses of shadows moving behind me when there's no one there. Every time I look into a mirror, I feel like I'm being watched from the other side. And last night, the cat came back. Not in a mirror this time, but in my room. It was sitting on the windowsill, staring at me with those glowing green eyes. I couldn't move. I watched as it leapt down and walked towards the mirror on my dresser. Its reflection moved before it did. I don't know what it means, but I know the girl is still waiting. And sooner or later, she's going to come for me.